Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Wow, that was something. First of all, I accidentally. Hey, hold on. Well, you can't get rid of us that easily. I accidentally just transitioned. I transitioned into the different screen. We'll cut all that out in the back end. But that's just indicative of how crazy this game was, how crazy today was. Well, I was gonna start this out with, "Hey, welcome back." Like, I really missed Flames hockey because we were on this break for the All-Star game, and it was, yeah, it was something. It was something. Anyways, welcome to Game Over Calgary. Welcome back to Game Over Calgary on the SDPN Sports YouTube channel, presented by our good friends at Sports Interaction. As you can see, if you're watching, James, you might be able to see it now. You got a little cool little ticket thing beside your face if you're watching the stream. You got that little download now. Sports Interaction now has an app. So if you're inside the province of Ontario, please be sure to download Other Way. Yeah, there you go. Right there.
Something like that.
But hey, look, before we get too far ahead of ourselves here, JJ, do you think you know what way it's gonna go? Sometimes, yeah, but not always. Well, if you do, you can make your bet with Sports Interaction. Whether it's hockey, football, or basketball, Sports Interaction has you covered. And hey, look, there's this thing called the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday. Lots of good opportunities to make some dough with our friends over at SIA. Bet pregame, live and play, or on one of our many prop bets. Join now and see all sports betting has to offer. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Want to bet? Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 plus, please play responsibly. And if you or anybody you know has any issues with gambling, please be sure to reach out to the resources in the show notes to get some help in that regard. We don't want anybody struggling. You obviously gamble within your limits. Anyways, JJ, it's great to have you back, first and foremost.
Thank you for having me back. It's fourth time's a charm, as they say.
What's the overall record for the Calgary Flames with James Johnson co-hosting the stream with me? That's a stat I'd like to look at.
3-0-1.
3-0-1.
So we were undefeated before this game, but I guess we still have points in all the games. So
that's the piss poor way to look at it.
I know.
That's like the Flames Twitter, like, guys wearing sunglasses in the back of their F-150s way to look at it. Like, at least they got points, brother. They may have lost, but at least they got points, brother. Milan Lucic is the best. It's like, that's just the piss poor way. Eck, my boy, I see you in here. Rangers. Look, I put a tweet out earlier saying that all Rangers fans are insufferable. They're not all insufferable. I was just real angry. So a lot of them are, but every fan base, like, I'm sure people look at me and say, damn, even like within the Flames fan base, like, damn, Auddie James is insufferable. And it's fair. It's fair. To that, I say touche. You see what I did there? That's an inside joke, but the chat is reminding you of that. Okay, I guess we should probably break this thing down because it was a game.
Certainly was a game.
You put out some tweets about the penalty minutes. There was a lot of them.
Just like these teams play each other twice a year, and this was the first. Like, the last time they played each other, correct me if I'm wrong, was like the game. Did they play in New York after we booed Adam Fox in the Saddle Dome? I don't remember.
This year? Or like in general?
Either way.
I don't know.
The last time the Rangers were in Calgary, we booed Adam Fox, and that feels like years ago. So it's like these teams don't interact much. Why did they hate each other? And then everything just happened tonight, and these teams hate each other apparently.
It truly felt like a playoff game.
Oh yeah.
Like big time playoff vibes. And it was it had a lot of everything. Like and you know what? I was fully prepared if the Flames won this game to come on this show and say, "Wow, I can't believe the Flames were able to win this game," because like I don't think it was particularly like a particularly great game played by the Flames. Um, Once again, our great friend Shane Stevenson, over at that place that he writes for, he put out this graphic and this tweet about the shots and how they're getting all these shots through, but they're lacking quality or I can't remember the word he used, but it's like, man, you can pepper as many shots through as you want, but if the quality isn't there, what are you really doing?
Yeah, I think that's like kind of a storyline of the season. Daryl Sutter hockey. In his time with the Kings, it was kind of the same way. And this year they've improved a little bit. They're getting some shots a little bit closer to the net.
Mm-hmm.
But for I think like the first half of the season, if you looked at any shot graph, it was literally like the 2 points and a little bit from the middle. Now they've moved up a little bit, but now the net front's still not too much. Although
No.
tonight we did see Manjapani got lucky with that skate call. We'll get into that, but it's just it's been a major storyline this season. Is like Corsi 4, they're gonna win that every single game. Every single game, they're going to out possession and outchance the other team. That's basically a given. And
Yeah.
then everything else, high danger, scoring chances, expected goals, anything you want to talk about, that's where the problems lie. So
Yeah.
it's frustrating, man.
It is. It is. And like, this is a team coming into this game fresh off the All-Star break,
Sad.
seemingly rejuvenated, outside of the playoff picture looking in. And this had the type of storyline to be like, okay, this is it. This is the start of something that's going to, like people talk about getting hot at the right times. The AJHL season is coming to an end. Shout out to my boy Conrad. The Drumheller Dragons are hot at the right time, heading into the playoffs. The season ends in 2.5 weeks. This is like, I know that we still have the trade deadline and a bunch of other stuff, but to bring it back to Calgary Flames and NHL, like All-Star break and beyond, that's when you got to really start playing your best hockey.
Yeah.
And like, the age old saying of if you're not in a playoff spot by American Thanksgiving, then your chances are probably pretty slim. If you're not in a playoff
Mm-hmm.
spot by the time the All-Star game rolls around, you're going to be fighting tooth and nail to try to just get into a wild card spot. And that's something that I don't know if the Flames are going to do, or I don't know. Like, it's such a confusing time right now because I don't know. I'm like not at a loss for words. I was so excited to come on today because I missed like you, the viewers, and you, the JJ, coming on to talk. Like I missed this, and I really wanted to talk about something good, but instead we got this, and we're still talking about, is this team going to make the playoffs? What is this team going to be like at the trade deadline? And it's just there's so many questions still, and we're at that point where it's like everybody said, oh, things are going to turn around. Things for Huberdeau are going to turn around. Things for this is going to turn around. We are well beyond that.
Yeah, they have 31 games left. So that's not it's not
Not good.
it seems like a lot, but it's really not. Like we're already 51 games played this season and it doesn't feel like it, really. I feel like the season's just kind of started.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just because the Flames still haven't figured themselves out, but that's not a lot of time. And when you play what I think was probably the best lineup they can conceivably put out on the ice tonight. I think I'm not a coach. I'm never going to be a coach. I frankly know nothing. But if I was in Daryl Sutter's shoes, this is pretty much the lineup I would have put out tonight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
me
put your
too.
best foot forward, but you didn't get the 2 points. And I don't know about other scores tonight or over the next couple days, but if teams like Vegas, LA, Edmonton, whoever, if they get the 2 points, then
Yeah,
you're digging yourself a hole even further, and it sucks, man. It sucks.
it does. It's sad boy hours. It feels bad. Um, and like we look at this, like I put out that tweet just before this, like the start of this. Obviously, this is the first game of this road swing, but how many games do you think the Flames are going to win, or what do you think the Flames' record is going to be coming out of this? And a lot of people were optimistic. A lot of people were, this is going to go exactly the way you would expect it to go, close but not close enough. A couple loser points, maybe a couple wins, but then sprinkle it in with losses to one to the Rangers, one will be to Ottawa, one will be to Buffalo, stuff like that, right?
Mm.
So not a great start, but I digress. Let's go to the comments before we move on. I do want to talk a little bit about officiating. I want to talk a little bit about Jacob Trouba, and I want to talk a little bit about everything, all the shit show shenanigans that went down tonight. But 42 people are watching us, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much, and we welcome you back. This has been great to be back here in the chair talking to you wonderful people about the Calgary Flames, who have been the bane of my existence this whole hockey season. But it's been great. So thank you for sticking around. Thank you for coming back. I know it's been a bit of a break. 42 people in here, by the way. Hit that like button, share it. Let's get some more people in here. Help that algorithm get more people going. And JJ's got that beautiful QR code. Download the new Sports Interaction app while you are at it. Okay, let's have a look-see-loo here. Conrad, I hate losing to Adam Fox. I think a lot of people would agree with that statement there. Dustin Wolf also did the wave at the AHL All-Star Game. So he is now on the trade block. That one coming from our friend. Who do you think? Insider J Money said that, and I appreciate that message.
Boo, boo, tomato, boo. Boo.
Flames take lead. Rangers tie game and win in OT. James, touche. That one coming from Nate. Touche. You know what? I gotta address the touche thing. I thought this whole time you were just joking around. Like I thought you just were like that touche, like like you're just really over pronunciating it. But
no, like
no, that was so.
Like I looked back, right? Like I had been saying that for years,
so long.
And like to my defense, it does sound exactly like touche.
It does.
Like
it does, but it's also French.
Yeah,
you got to put the accent aigu.
And the only reason I figured it out is because like yesterday someone replied with like the dodgeball gif and the guy says touche and I was like, I thought it said toque or something and I was like, touche? And I was like, huh? And I was like, oh my.
No. I gotta go delete every tweet that I've said touche. Oh, that's
and I did
so
just
good.
That.
I don't blame you. I would do the exact same thing. Let's see here. Nate saying, Auddie, I think the old white in your top left has to go. Get swapped for Blasty for all 4 this year. Just saying as a Jersey guy. That's true. It was Blasty until I gifted it to Hannah and she got Lindholm put on the back for her birthday. This is my only made in Canada jersey, so that's why it is up there. It's a Reebok. I don't know which iteration of it, but it's a made in Canada, so I had to display that. As a Jersey guy myself too, a self-proclaimed Jersey guy. Let's see. I agree with Auddie that by no means was for the Flames the game a great one. Giving up 4 goals isn't good. In the postseason, games are often tightened up, although even those that involve scoring 3 or more goals by the losing team can turn into track meets. That one coming from David. Good point. And Noah saying, as he mentioned before, the Flames will miss the playoffs by 1 point in typical Flames fashion. The more I think about it, Noah, the more I kind of agree with you. Like, that probably wasn't the hottest take that you provided in that hit that you did on the radio there. But
shout outs to Noah, by the way.
Great job. Shout out to Noah. Good job. Everybody in the chat spam good job, Noah, for finishing his placement at Sportsnet 960 for his RTBN program. So give a round of applause to Noah and tell him how great he is in the comments section. So, but yeah, that would be typical Flames, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's exactly what's gonna happen. Like that's my Twitter bio for the past 4 years has been, I am I am patiently waiting for the Flames to not be perpetually mediocre. Finishing 1 point out of the playoffs, yeah, yeah. It's exactly what's gonna happen. Like I don't know. Maybe the team goes on a run. Maybe they make it, but I don't know. I wouldn't be adding at the deadline.
No, and that's something actually. You know what? Um let's park one of our topics and actually talk about that, because we're getting closer to trade deadline season, and I don't know if it's confirmed, but be on the lookout for some trade deadline coverage brought to you by the Game Over roster. So it hasn't been announced yet, but I'll tease it just in case it does happen. Be on the lookout for some cool coverage here on SDPN Sports. But yeah, at this point right now, everybody's talking about, oh, the Flames need to bring in Timo Meier. The Flames need to bring in Max Domi. The Flames need to bring in this guy, that guy, the other, Jake McCabe, who won't come here because it's on his no trade list. But
He's like,
like,
nope.
yeah, do the Flames buy? Like, are you legitimately wanting to sell assets to try to win this year? Like, I don't think I do it.
Like uh people have been in my I've put out I think 3 trade deadline pieces at win column, the wincolumn.ca. Go check it out. We have
Yep.
lots of good
Shout out
stuff.
win column.
Plug. I wrote about 3 trade deadline articles on James Van Riemsdyk, Evgeny Dadonov, and Justin Braun. Why not? But people in the
Clicks.
comments were like, yeah, clicks. That's I don't know, man. But yeah, people are like, why should they do this? And I'm like, because I know they're going to. I know they're going to buy in the end. And I'm just trying to suggest like some cheap pieces because I don't want them wasting. I would love
Mm-hmm.
Timo Meyer. I love
Mm-hmm.
Timo Meyer a lot. And maybe like if you want to go all in, do it. But if we're gonna trade like a first for Josh Anderson, no, no. And what I would do personally is look at pending UFAs like Trevor Lewis, Milan Lucic, Michael Stone, Brett Ritchie, and say, give us some late picks. We'll play some young guys, recoup some draft capital that we spent on Callie Yarncroke and Ryan Carpenter and Tyler Pitlick and every other fucking whatever stupid player that we've spent draft capital on. Just
Yeah.
like a minimalistic approach, kind of sell a little bit. Maybe that sends a message to the team, but I don't want them to buy, but I know they're going to buy because you kind of you kind of have to. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Treliving put them in a position where like if they don't make it, oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. It's not going to be good. It's it's not going to be good. I don't know. They you're right though. They're going to have to. They're not going to be selling, I don't think. We all collectively talk about these things, and yes, we think they probably should not be buyers, but you know damn well that they're not going to stand still. They're not going to sit pat.
No.
They are going to be going out there and trying to bring someone or something in for a push. And Conrad with a point here. The Flames need to bring in Oliver Shillington if his health is right, health/life situation. That's our deadline deal. I do not think that Oliver Shillington will be playing National Hockey League games this year. And
Probably not.
if he does, it's not going to be as impactful as everybody thinks it's going to be. He will spend some time with the Wranglers to get back up to speed, and by that point, you're going to be right in the heat of a playoff race, hopefully. And I don't think that it's going to be as much of an impact as people think it will. We hope all the best for Oliver Shillington. Obviously, my prediction is he ends up on LTIR. Once the trade deadline once they get to or get past, I don't know how that works exactly. But they are accruing a daily cap daily cap space by having his contract on the books until the trade deadline. So it's a good thing in
Yes.
that regard. If they do want to spend, they are still accruing cap space for paying him, which is why he's probably not on LTIR right now, and they're saving some LTIR pool. And yes, I know, right? Very good for Auddie to learn all this salary cap stuff. You'd be so proud
Oh
of
man,
him.
it's so complicated. Like, shout outs to Ryan Pike, like
Yep.
the guy that just consistently knows it every time. And I'm like, you, my friend, are very incredibly smart
He
because
is.
there's so many like rules and intertwined stuff. Ugh.
Anytime I have a conversation with Pike, I'm like, yep, you know way more than I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out anything salary cap or CBA related. Pike is definitely your guy. Let's see what some of the comments are saying here. Noah saying, I bet in the next week or two they'll be getting clarity because if he isn't back, very likely he'll be placed in LTIR. Good point. JJ Scoops, you are my hero. That one coming from our friend John. Sell everything. And Matty Phillips, we trust. Be smart to sell of those bottom 6 UFAs who just take up a spot. That one coming from Finn, agreeing with your point. And Conrad also giving props to Gould, who knows a lot of this stuff too. Okay, enough about the trade deadline. Let's talk a little bit more about tonight because it was a game for the ages. Like, this was an entertaining game. As much as it was a shit show, it was entertaining as hell. There was a lot going on, and I want to get your 2 cents on officiating because it's been pretty well documented that officiating throughout the league wide, is just progressively getting worse and worse and worse. I, for one, have always been on Team Stripes. We have a family friend who officiated in the National Hockey League for the better part of my lifetime. So I have a lot of respect for officials. And I have a lot of respect for the people I don't have a lot of time for people who shit on them. But at this point, I'm having a very, very hard time putting my personal feelings the way I've felt to officials or about officiating and officials. I'm having a hard time backing that up because it's been really bad. I don't know how the Flames ended up tonight with so many penalties taken, and the Rangers got away with so much shit. Like the Tanev fight, sure, he went after Trouba, but Trouba was the first one with his gloves off and the first punch thrown. And you're going to tell me that Chris Tanev is the one who comes out with 2 for that.
Yeah, it's like
what?
Sorry, what?
Like,
I don't understand, man.
I have such a hard time, especially defending. Like Jacob Trouba is notorious for this shit. He's done it time and time again, and he's not going to stop. He's just going to continue doing what he does because he never gets fucking punished for it. So
exactly.
it drives me crazy.
And, like, I don't think either hit was dirty. Jacob Trouba is old school, and people love him for a reason. I don't think hitting should be taken out of hockey. I think he crosses the line at times, and I think I don't know. I don't want to say tone it back, but he crosses the line, and that's not cool. So, but like he hits 2 guys. 2 guys come in to defend their teammates, and they get penalties when Trouba's the guy, as you said, that, in my opinion, instigates the fights. Right? Like it doesn't make sense. And look, Rangers fans loved him tonight. All over Twitter, in the arena, you could tell they freaking love this guy, and that's great. But just to get back to officiating, like, it's so frustrating. As you said, it's a very hard job, and it's not a job that a lot of people want, and that's a concern going into the future.
It's a thankless job.
Yes, very,
Very much.
very much so.
And
so,
just to follow that up too, not to cut you off, but a good counterpoint from David, which I wanted to get to as well. Officiating has been controversial this season, although the Flames did benefit from a goal that had gone off a skate of a player from their team. That said, there were so many fights, and that was a kick. I will give that to Rangers fans. My 2 cents. That was undisputable. Like that was a kicking motion. How that goal remained is beyond me. I have no idea how that goal stood, and Coleman's goal in Game 5 didn't stand.
Boom.
Drives me fucking crazy. It's not just officiating, it's the consistency and lack thereof across the league. And it's not just the Flames, and it's not just the Rangers, and it's every single team in the league that's getting shafted by poor calls and no consistency and no accountability. Like these officials aren't being held accountable.
No, and that's one thing. Other leagues make the officials available to media post game. NHL make the officials available post game.
Yep.
It's not difficult. I know you want to, the NHL is great and there's no issues wrong, blah, blah, blah. We're perfect. Make the officials available. Like you have, I think it's Sheldon Keefe who said, blah, blah, blah. This official made this call because of our history.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't be having scandals like this in the National Hockey League.
I don't remember what that was, but
Yeah,
it was bad. Like I'm pretty sure it's like it goes off ice. Like and it was not good. And yeah, even Conrad saying it's not just the Wideman scenario anymore. Everyone is complaining league wide. And I used to like get my back up so much, like I said, about people just like poo-pooing on refs, because I'm like, yeah, it's a thankless job. I know someone who's done it. It's like, a little bit of a personal bias there. But now it's like, man, I have no excuses anymore.
Yeah, it's getting rough. Like I don't know if there's one fix is maybe like having a fifth official sitting like in the time box or whatever you call it. Time box, I think.
Yeah, the scorekeeper's
The penalty
box, or
box
yeah.
area in between there. Like maybe having a fifth official that checks everything. I don't know. Like that's a topic I could talk about officiating
Oh
all
yeah.
day, but it's frustrating.
It's hot topic stuff. It's topic stuff. And Camden Kelly with a comment here. I hate that the ref can put his hand up for a penalty and then end up not calling it. If you review it for a major and decide it's not a major, it should have to be reduced to at least a minor. Agree
Yeah.
or disagree, James Johnson?
Ooh, that's interesting. I think he's right and wrong. I don't know if I have a very good opinion on that because
Because it could,
say
yeah, I agree. Yeah, go on. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off,
as
but
if
yeah, I see what
like
you're saying.
I don't know if it's your teammate high sticking you and the ref thinks that's not a major though, but
It could be a
I don't
double
know.
minor if there's blood, or I don't
Say a
know.
player like freaking I don't know, like chops a guy in the head and then you call it a major, but you review it and it's your teammate and it's like the guy's teammate that did it. Should that be a penalty for the other? I don't
No.
know.
It would be very much situational, I think.
Yeah.
It would and that's the problem with NHL officiating and officiating in general, is you can't keep making it so that it's okay, well, we'll leave it up to the official. You have to make it cut and dry. You have to make
Hmm.
it black and white. You can't leave it like that's the problem with officiating.
Yeah.
Because you leave so much up to discretion, that's where you get the inconsistencies, and that's been the
Yeah.
problem across all sports.
Like the Mangiapane kick. I know you were sure it wasn't a goal. I was sure it wasn't a goal. And it turns out it's a goal. It's like
Yeah, I
literally
thought
flip a
for
coin.
sure, and like I hope Rangers fans hear us like that, and I know there's some in here because I see the comments. That Mangiapane goal should have been a kick. It should have been a no goal, and I know that Steve tweeted about it today too, because the Leafs have been victim of it on more than one occasion. The Flames were victims of it in Game 5, and if that was a kick, and Mangiapane's like. It's the consistency. There's no cut and dry, which is why, and we'll save this for another podcast because I could talk all day about this, kicking should be allowed. They should allow kicking because then it's black and white. Hey, if it goes off a skate, it goes off a skate. Why is kicking a disallowed goal? What's the
Yeah.
justification behind it?
Like I feel like
It can go in
the
off your
follow
ass.
through like the follow through with like a very sharp skate horizontally,
Yeah, danger.
but maybe I like that idea, kicking, but the skate can't leave the ice or something like that.
Oh,
I don't know, man.
discretion. It would be discretion.
Yeah,
The more you give it, yeah, and you can't kick with knife shoes. I agree that that's a thing, but like
a little sketchy.
it's sketchy for sure from a safety standpoint, and I don't want people getting hurt. But I don't know. I just like maybe my advocation is not for kicking to be allowed, but more so just cut and dry. And that's a great point. Excuse me. Yeah, too dangerous near goalies. I agree. That's true. But
Yeah,
I think my frustration is more so not with kicking, but just things need to be more cut and dry, more black and white, less gray,
yeah,
less discretion. Just 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 make the rule book so that you can say, okay, yep, okay, no, not all right. Let's flip a coin and see what we're gonna get today, right? Like, are you picking up what I'm putting down?
yeah. And I think the NHL should use previous calls that they've made and like
Mm-hmm.
base what they called in that game for what they're going to call in this game. Like,
Yep.
for example, Nate Thompson kicked a puck in against the Flames in the playoffs in like 2017,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the most obvious kick in the world, but they allowed it to be a goal. So, how does Coleman's kick? How is that not allowed? It just, and how is this Mangiapane goal allowed? It just doesn't make
I
sense.
know, and none of it does, and it never will. It never, quite frankly, will. The rule book is not going to get any simpler. We know that. We can put if Sports Interaction allowed us to bet on that, we could bet on that. And you can bet on that if you head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. Shameless plug to our friends over there, and you can go check out Dangle's Doozies, a whole section dedicated
Good
to.
stuff, man.
There's some good ones in there. I like the what is it? The former friends. There's a lot of former
Yeah,
friends bets. They had some good ones for I think the one they were talking about in the most recent SDP was the William Nylander. Will he score 50? And then that translated, and then they changed that to talking about props about Will McDavid score 70 because he's on pace for
crazy.
67.2 right now. But anyways, go ahead and check out our friends over at Sports Interaction. Okay, any final thoughts, JJ? And with that, I'll also let the chat kind of ask any final questions before we part ways and put a bow on today's episode of Game Over Calgary. Any final thoughts on tonight's contest against the New York Rangers?
I'll end with this. People on Twitter say I am too negative, and sometimes I am. So I
No,
will
not people on Twitter saying that.
no. I will end with this. Mangiapane, Backlund, Coleman is the best line in hockey. Tonight they outscored the Rangers 3-0 on the ice. I believe they are still the top line in the entire NHL in terms of expected goals. Like I'll give like a brief analytics understanding. If when you have things like Corsi for percentage, expected goals percentage, blah blah blah, 50% is your like median, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
average. Anywhere from like 45 to 55%. Like if you're at 55%, that's really good because the NHL is so close. It's very hard to differentiate. The Backlund Coleman Mangiapane line is at like 70% for everything. They're insane.
Is that good? That's good.
They're so good.
That's pretty good.
They're so
Shout out to that line. They've been outstanding all year, and everybody likes to shit on Michael Backlund for some reason. Walt, I'm looking at you, you scumbag motherfucker. I know you're not watching. But yes, don't poo-poo on Michael Backlund. He's been very very good. Okay. One quick thing. We're no as fast as you can. Just give me the answer. No explanation. The only question we got was from Nate. Favorite skills competition event from this year?
Oh man, like I guess breakaway challenge.
Mine would be hardest shot because I like the. Well, we said no explanation. Hardest shot. We'll leave it at that. Backlund with the C. Someone saying that as well.
Do it.
Is 50 the average? One quick one as well. We could, as we don't have a whole lot of time. Is 50 the average, or is that just picking the middle? Is from
50
Peter
would be the
the middle?
I mean they're kind of both the same thing.
Yeah, kind of.
50 would be the middle. I think the average is probably a couple percentage points higher just because you have teams like Anaheim and Chicago and others that are so bad that they boost the numbers for everybody else. So I guess they're not the same. I guess the average is probably like 51, 52%. I don't know. Something like that.
Hey, Adam, that's a great question. Save it for I'm hosting the next one. It's against the Red Wings. Please bring that question back because I do want to get to that, but we are unfortunately out of time for today. James Johnson, tell everybody quickly where they can find you and what you're up to these days.
Twitter and Instagram at James Johnson YYC, and you can, if you really want to read the things I write, it is at thewincolumn.ca. Auddie also writes there.
I have yet to put an article out, but I'm working on it. I've been slowly but surely working on it. But yes, go check them out. Go check out James's work. As I mentioned, I will be on. I don't remember if it's. I think it's Thursday against the Red Wings. I will be on with Matt Rose from Sportsnet 960. We will be breaking that one down post game. So until then, friends, be safe. Go check out our friends at sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. I hope everybody had a good time here. If you're listening on playback, please be sure to like it. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to SDPN. Go check out some merch. Go check out my link tree. Lots of cool stuff in there from SDPN for merch and lots of other good things that SDPN is doing. And we'll talk to you guys on Thursday. This has been Game Over Calgary, brought to you by Sports Interaction on SDPN Sports. We'll talk to you guys later.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.